Coming in today, just high or just shy of the 6,500 pound mark, depending on how you equip it, the very popular Jayfeather 27 BHB here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. Let's take a quick look at her with our floor plan in a flash. You'll see the new Carpetless update that has gone into the 2021 generation. We like to outfit these with a theater seat directly across from that no neck wrecker entertainment center. The folding bunk gives you flexibility in this floor plan that you just can't always find in a lot of things. Combine that with the very best warranty that you can find in this class, 100% travel access from tip to tail through the camper with the slide closed. You got yourself one heck of a sharp rig that is going to work for a lot of people. It's not an accident this one's so popular. You want to go off-grid? She's solar ready. We got it outfitted with that larger 12-volt fridge today, although you do have a gas-electric fridge option. Heated and closed underbelly, standard on these. A lot of good going on. Now remember, we're looking at the Jayco Modern Farmhouse decor today, but they do offer different decors. There's two of them, and actually at Haylett RV, we will tend to bring them both in a little bit. We tend to favor the Modern Farmhouse decor a little bit, mostly just because that's what customers have favored over the years. So that's kind of one of those things. Dealers and manufacturers, we don't set the market, we reflect the market. Now, the Jayfeather series here, you're now carpetless, which I know a lot of people are really, I'm happy about it. The one place this camper had carpet was the one place you didn't want it. It was under the dining area. Well, Jayco fixed it. The thing is, it's not as easy as just taking out the carpet. The slides for a long time have been engineered to actually glide on that front strip of carpet in front of them for a while, so it took some effort, it took some engineering, but you'll see now that all Jayco laminated RVs are completely carpetless flooring, which I think is a very cool thing. Now, obviously, this is a bunkhouse, so one of the big things that we're doing here is sleeping a bunch of people, and if we start right here and take a look, you see that the dining, the sofa, to some degree, can fold down into a sleeper, plus you have that fold-down bunk back there with the double bunk above it. Now, quick note, we have upgraded this one to a theater seat right here, which is a nice little wall hugger. You can also see how it includes these handy swivel stands. They actually slot right into the side cup holders, which is pretty cool. And you can't see it from here where I'm standing, but in that center console, that flip-up middle armrest right there, that's a perfect place to keep like your stereo and TV remotes up away from the kiddos. Now, talking about sleeping, considering how much sleeping capacity you have in the master bed in these bunks, which could already sleep 4 to 6, which already accommodates most families, not to mention the dinette could fold down into a little sleeper, we didn't really think that you needed much more sleeping than that. And what is nice on a rainy day when you're kind of stuck inside here, because this is actually a pretty good rainy day camper, Mom and Dad, Grandpa and Grandma, whoever owns the house, you know, I don't care who it is, you're going to need a W. You're going to need a place where you can sit down and chill. Because if you look back here, for both the lower and the upper bunks, Jayco ran a lot of copper. They got those little corner stands with household and USB outlets back there. So the kids all have a place to keep their little devices, tablets, phones, etc. You, though, you need a place where you can relax, because that's what camping's all about. It's about taking a kick back, relaxing a little bit. And if you are stuck inside for a little while, one of the nice things about a Jayfeather, it is a little more upscale than a lot of more common conventional campers, so you don't mind spending some extra time in here. So having that wall-hugging theater seat on Boardwalk and Park Place directly across from the entertainment center over here, this makes sense to me. Now, this floor plan, I know I'm going to get a lot of questions on this. Fireplaces are not currently offered in the Jayfeather lineup. That is kind of one of the defining lines between a Jayfeather and a Whitehawk. I'm actually going to kind of touch on that a few times as we go here, just to help give you some information and some understanding. A Whitehawk is like a Jayfeather Plus, and a fireplace is one of those defining differences between them. Similarly, the refrigerator size. Standard fridge in here is a 6 cubic foot two-way gas electric. We have upgraded this, however, to feature a 8.7 cubic foot 12 volt DC compressor fridge. We'll come back and see the kitchen in some more detail in a minute, but there's some good storage here, including some serious storage behind the entertainment center. And actually, I really kind of like that table right here. That, to me, it's like if you are going to be camping, but let's say it's sports day, you know, it's Sunday sports day. It's nice to be able to have your chips and nachos or whatever your snack of choice is sitting out there and, you know, just be able to kind of stay in the mix of the entertainment, but still snack-a-lack it a little bit. Up top here, we've got a thing that last year was optional, and it was so popular it just became standard. Jay Feathers and White Hawks both have these XL like vent fans here in the kitchen living area to really help force the issue of getting a lot of good airflow in here. Now I want to zero in on something on these bunks real quick. So Jayco Bunks are typically rated for as much, but typically more than anybody else in the industry. Each of these beds is rated for 300 pounds per sleeping space. Since this is a double bunk, that means 600 pound sleeping capacity. That's pretty awesome. Now, when you're in transit, you lose about a third of that because the cargo bounces so much, but that still gives you a 400-pound cargo capacity on those bunks. Still best in class. So we got best in class warranty, bunk ratings, or carpetless, best in class roof construction and load rating. There's a lot of really, really sharp qualities here you just can't match elsewhere in the industry. And Jayco's lightweight lineup, it only gets more jazzy from here. But one other thing I want to show you, if we take a look, you've got separate curtains for the upper and lower bunks. And again, notice how you've got that flip up, down, lower bunk over here. That can actually serve a couple kind of cool purposes. You know, whether it's cargo space, whether you're doing kind of like separate cargo on a rainy day, if you need a little play space in here. Like I know that when I was a little kid, I would grab like a box of Legos, I'd dump them over here in this corner, and I would build stuff all day long. I'd set my little creations up there in that shelf, and then I would try to remember to take them down before I flip the bunk mattress down and smash them. But my memory, not always so good when I was a kid, you know? So, entertainment and then bathroom. We already kind of peeked at the TV, but again, straight across from the seating area. And down here, we've got what's become pretty common. It's Bluetooth streaming ready kind of stereo, where if you want to add like a little HDMI, like you've got room up here if you want to add a Blu-ray player, or if you just want to plug in a Roku Fire Stick, whatever works for you, you got all that kind of opportunity right there. Now this bathroom here, it's not the largest you've ever seen, but it is extremely well appointed given its size. Now that direct entry door right there, that will save so much dirty foot traffic getting tracked through the camper. That is such a beneficial feature. And I know it weirds some people out who have never camped, but camping is different than being at your house. And like my parents' place down in Florida, they've got a room straight, or a door straight to a bathroom from outside on the pool. You know, it's very, very nice to be able to just jump inside, use the bathroom, and come back out and not, you know, try to track stuff through the whole house. For the same reasons it's beneficial. And if you're ever curious, you do have a little deadbolt switch right there, so you don't gotta worry about old Uncle Gary walking in and seeing you at all your glory. That's not going to be an issue here. The, shower is nicely sized, actually, and it's sort of a shower, sort of a tub. I'm going to call it a Jay Feather shub. It's in a little bit of a combo. And I also want to point out that right next to it, we've got a pair of the Drunken Octopus Fight Club towel hangers, and this handy little shelf right here. A great space to be able to keep some, you know, extra toiletries, or, I don't know, some people might just put some decorations up there. I can't imagine needing to decorate my Jay Feather, but hey, everybody camps their own way. And I also love that this curtain has a radius track at the top for elbow room, as well as a track at the bottom, so that curtain doesn't get sucked and stuck against you when you're wet, and you feel like you're fighting off a squid underwater for like Jacques Cousteau, and then you have to call the Drunken Octopus Fight Club coat hangers to defend your honor. I don't know. I'm making this up as I go. It's not really panning out how I pleased. Anyway, let's talk headroom. This camper has a 6.5 foot tall sidewall. That means that a 6'3" guy like me, when I step into the tower shub, I do need to have my head in the bubble. So here's the thing though. I spend 8, 10, 12 minutes here in this shower, and then I spend the rest of my time outside. For me, even despite my height, I prefer being able to walk in these things easily and stand in the showers, but that's not going to stop me from camping, considering the other 23 hours and 52 minutes of the day, I have no issues in here. It's not that big of a deal to me, but I do want to point it out, and I hope you appreciate the extra information, the way that we're really willing to shoot you straight here at Haylett RV. Now, as we come from the other direction here, you see that the sink and the medicine cabinet are both kind of angled inward into the room, which is nice, because you can actually stand in the room, like if you need to shave, brush your teeth, whatever. You don't have to have your backside halfway out the hallway here. Now, I thought I'd kind of do something midstream that I don't normally do. I want to give you a look at this thing in travel mode with the slide closed as we're coming from the back door. And the reason I want to do that is to display the fact that whether you come from the front door or the rear bathroom door right here, it doesn't matter. You can still access basically everything in the entire RV. There's that little kind of storage nook behind the slide face right now that maybe we can't get to, but that's it. You can walk through the kitchen space here. We can get to all the storage. You can get up to the bedroom. You can get back to the bunks. You can access the bathroom, obviously, like I just did. There's nothing in this that we need to open the slide to use. It's just that it's obviously about to be it's dramatic the difference the slide out makes. Check this out. It's crazy the space that a slide out gives you, even a small slide. And when people see it like going out in person, they're always like, oh, wow. Now, not only are we carpetless, we are easy cleaning. With very few exceptions, you'll find that J-Feathers are ventless flooring. There will be a couple spots where a cabinet heat duct just isn't really functional, so you might find an occasional floor heat vent in a J-Feather, but they are pretty sparing. Now, let's talk, what do we want to talk about over here? Let's talk air conditioning. A couple things. You have the option of outfitting these with a larger 15,000 BTU air conditioner, which we do quite often here at Haylett RV. It's very inexpensive and gives you a lot more power. Just kind of makes a lot of sense. Another thing that's cool is the way that Jayco has everything ducted. They can open, close, and turn every air vent individually, and that is something that not all RV brands can do. So it really depends on the air unit itself and how all the ducting is placed. Now, I tell you what, I think it's definitely time. Let's start cracking open some storage, shall we? It's all going to start here down below the dinette. You've got a couple doors for easy storage access. And I tell you what I do. I just get a couple sliding totes, and that'd make my life a lot easier. You know, then everything you're going to grab, it's all going to be right next to the door. And I always try to be fair. If I see something I'm not a super fan of, I'll point it out. I'm not a big fan of these pedestal legs because I'm a long-legged guy. Now, that works to my advantage here professionally because I can show you how a big, long-legged guy like me fits on the toilet, which we kind of peeked at earlier. Gross. But I'm not a big fan of them at the dinette. But for less than $40 and 5 seconds with a screwdriver, basically, you could swap those over to a set of free-floating folding legs that are very lightweight and, you know, no big deal. Now, on a similar note, the camper is a little bit shy on door side windows, but if you look at the layout, there's just not much else you can do about it. You know, you've got different campers built for different purposes. I think the idea behind this one is that you spend most of your time outside first and foremost, and if you want to, it is very capable of entertaining you on the inside of the RV. So the way that they have this one laid out, it makes sense. It's effective. I like it. Over here, though, this mega pantry that we're looking at, which is one of two things you could really call a functional pantry in here. What is cool is you could easily kind of convert this around. These are adjustable shelves, removable. So if you want to, you could probably take out just one of those and still have something of a hanging coat closet. You could take them both out and have a nice long closet right there if you're tall like me and you need to use it for extra long clothes. Or, obviously, you could just rack them and stack them up some mac and cheese boxes in there and have yourself a good time. I like the little place to keep a coat and a jacket right by the door. And up top there, a place for some hats and gloves or things like that. And this might sound crazy, keeping an extra pair of socks for your kid by the door. That's a little parenting hack from me to you. That is super useful, actually. Because they're like, okay, time to go. And they're standing there with shoes and no socks on. You're like, what? Where did your socks go? Never mind. Come here. Put these socks on. We'll figure it out when we get back. That's super helpful. A little place there to be able to put the boot, your shoes on. I call it a little boot bench or a timeout seat. So the next time I have an original idea, my wife needs to tell me, no, that's not allowed. I have a place to sit to think about my mistakes in life. I joke. My wife is awesome. We have a very good relationship. Pocket screwed cabinetry here all the way through. So the cabinet construction in this matches that of a Jayco North Point luxury fifth wheel with a 2+3 year full-time RVing warranty. Now, this has the same 2+3 year conditioning. It is not a RV that has allowances for full-time RVing, but the physical construction is basically the same, which is kind of cool to give you some confidence there. Cabinet bottom to countertop backsplash above a sealed edge thermal foil countertop, always a crowd pleaser kitchen feature, with the pop-up power tower there so that you have easy reach appliance outlets and some USB plugs. High-rise kind of faucet there above the dual basin sink. You've got the cutting board cover, the dish drying rack. Very similar equipment there to what you might find in Big Brother White Hawk. Then over here, I like that little counter extension. Now, it flips up and down, Remember when we were looking at the RV with the slide closed? That's why it flips up and down. And if I'm going to be picky, if there's one other thing I'd change, I would really like a place in this for a wastebasket. There's not a super good one, but I don't know. I think I could deal with that. Actually, I think what you could possibly do is maybe remove that bottom shelf there and blammo. There's a nice wastebasket space, and it's near the kitchen. It's not hard to reach. I could live with that. Plywood drawers down to the floor, and then more plywood drawers, like a big massive, almost like baking sheet drawer below the oven, and a bonus drawer below that refrigerator. Now, it doesn't matter which fridge you get, the 6 cubic foot two-way or the 8.7 cubic foot 12-volt DC compressor fridge upgrade that we're looking at here. Either way, you still get that drawer below. And then over here, I said there's 2 places in this RV you could call a pantry. I like to call these pantry-tainment centers because there is some serious storage behind this locks-in-place kind of TV. So the TV itself effectively acts as a door, which I think is pretty cool. Now, not only, there's HDMI plugs on that entertainment head, but not only that, Jayco actually goes ahead and runs the HDMI wiring for you. So it's not, there's so many campers. I can't even tell you how many campers have a high-def capable TV and a standard definition wiring setup. And you won't find that here. And I mean, just like I said, drawers galore, storage everywhere. This is a feature-packed camper with a lot more than meets the eye on it. Because otherwise, you could very easily look at it and say, oh man, the kitchen's, it's a little shy. Not really. I don't think so. And there's a little kind of secret in the sauce feature right here. This thing has an extra wide bedroom entry door, and it helps make the whole RV look and feel a little bit bigger, but obviously when you need it, you can slide the door closed, and you see that little metal latch right there. You can actually latch it from the inside, and the only reason this is here is for evening privacy, so that there's no little visible gap around the door, even though nobody could smash their face hard enough against the wall to be able to, I don't know, see anything. They still put that there just to give you a little sense of comfort. One of the Jay Feather to White Hawk differences is that Jay Feathers will have camp queens, and a true White Hawk, or full White Hawk, has a true queen. Here's the thing though. Jay Feather, built with a little bit more price sensitivity, has the camp queen on purpose a lot for cost control. They leave you room. If you want to upgrade to a true queen, you can very easily do that here. Now, I haven't talked much about it, but notice the blackout shades on all of the windows. There's a lot of campers that when you get up to the bedroom, you start to lose that. Like you might have them back here in the living room like we've seen, but you won't always have them in the bedroom area, and Feather's a lot more consistent that way. Now, both side stands have plenty of outlets. Both side stands have household and USB plugs. Then you see a little switch down there as well. That switch is actually what's controlling the little Labatt blue light there, the silver bullet light, behind the closet space. And you're going, what is that back there? Well, if we zero in, take a little bit more of a look, it's actually what I like to call a little CPAP stand. There are a set of household outlets back there. You got a little night reading light. It's a neat pocket where you can keep some personal things away from just the common foot traffic. If anybody does happen to go into your bedroom, it's kind of an out of sight, out of mind thing. Full hanging closets. You've got the full overhead storage here and dual breeze through windows. So if you really want the wind whipping through this bedroom, you got it. And what's more, you got that extra little knick-knack shelf above the bed and, so that you do have TV hookups over there. But what I was getting at is this extra vent up here. Now, it doesn't have a vent fan run to it. Oh, wait, yes, it does! And that's another one of those things you don't typically find. A vent fan dedicated to a bedroom. Now, that's not the giant fan, but it's when you have the sliding door closed, that is enough to keep the heat exhausted out of this room. That's what its job is. If you wanted to upgrade to that, give us a call here at Haylett RV. If you want a bigger fan, that is easy stuff that we can do for you all the time. Now, you can see the TV mount sticker there, but that black sticker right there is also an indicator that this RV is roof solar prepped. We'll talk a little bit more about that outside, but basically that is showing you where in the wall the wiring is located to tap into that roof prep in case you want to add a charge controller after the fact. Plus, because we're not done yet, we've got easy lift storage to get to everything below the bed here, that big chest. You can see how even where you're not looking, Jayco's using plywood, like under the bed here. You'll see the same thing under the bunks. Now, I mentioned a full overhead cabinet. but you can't really get the sense of it until we open it up. It is quite functional. It is surprisingly deep. A lot of times when you see these bullet nose travel trailers, you don't really have good storage up front. Now, naturally, you've got the dual hanging closets, but just like that closet pantry combo job in the kitchen, you've got a shelf in here. So if what you need is less hanging space and more dresser space, out of the box, a Jayfeather's equipped to handle that for you. You don't have to go adding stuff and shelves after the fact. It's just that extra thought and detail that goes into this. But those are the little things that you just don't always see. Like the little fan up here. A lot of campers have a vent up here, but not every camper has a powered vent up here, and that's a huge, huge difference. And a nicely sized front pass-through compartment on this Jayfeather, and if you look over there, you see a red battery disconnect switch. Those are important for more than like just marrying up with the 12-volt fridge that we've upgraded to here, although they go hand in hand with that. There's things in this RV like the water heater circuit board, the stereo. They don't turn off. They go into low power mode, and what's called phantom load can actually trickle draw off those batteries and kill your battery quickly. So that 12-volt switch is very, very nice for storage purposes. I've left this leg up here on purpose so that you can see that easy setup, MORryde stable step leg right there. And ladies and gentlemen, as a person who manipulates more steps on campers in a week than you probably will in your lifetime, I cannot tell you how much I love that feature. So you see over here, we've got the magnet holdbacks on all of the exterior baggage doors. You've got the same thing back there on the camp kitchen. You'll see it on the driver's side baggage pass-through as well. But we also, like a White Hawk, have rear and side view camera prep, which kind of begs the question, what really are some differences between a White Hawk and a Jayfeather? And I'll put like a separate video together in that, but basically to give you just the most surface cursory understanding of it, a Jayfeather is kind of where the Jayco Ultralite line starts, and then a White Hawk is like a Jayfeather Plus or a Jayfeather Premium. It does everything Feather does, and then it goes beyond. That's the simplest way I can say it. So it's a super feather. These ride on a little bit different kind of chassis. It's a Norco Huck bolted frame, just like Big Brother White Hawk. And the idea there is a little bit lighter without losing strength and integrity. Now on the front here, we have a simple side mount solar prep plug. But I got you a quick little picture here. This does have roof solar prep as well up there on top of that heaviest load rating in class Magnum Truss roof load system that you'll find on, well, all Jayco towable RVs. Now we just mentioned the side camera prep, and something I want to mention in relation to that is the J Smart lighting system. So it does a couple things for us, but while we're standing right here, the main thing I think a lot of people are going to draw from it is like if you flip on your left-hand turn signal, all of the lights on this side of the trailer will blink so that other people know what you're doing. And it's funny, it's not mandatory on a travel trailer like this, which requires no special licensing, but it is mandatory on like a 53-foot tractor trailer, which requires special licensing. So people with less training are equipped typically with less safety equipment. Well, not on a Jayco. Now it begs the question though, because these side view cameras, they typically draw their power from the lights. So if that's blinking, what good is that going to be? And the answer is Jayco ran 2 separate power lines so that you don't have to deal with that. Now these are all key to like, so you need one key to get through basically all of your doors, which is really, really nice. And they are also sealing their hinges here, even on the Jayfeather level. Now that's very, very nice around, say like the Midwest here, where we get freeze and thaw and freeze and thaw and freeze and thaw. Well, if water got into an exposed hinge, froze, when water freezes, it expands, which could spring the hinge and cause it to go, which is, you know, the perfect thing, by the way, for a beer cooler, so that you know when your buddy's trying to get your good beer instead of the Miller High Life that he bought. We all know that one guy, don't we? I might have been that guy when I was younger. Whatever. Anyway, moving on. Enclosed, heated underbelly. One of the other cool things Jayco does, I call it the J-Shield. They don't really have a name for it, though. They put the underbelly skin on top of the frame rail. And it's one less way for that skin to dip down and gap and cause potential voids. And void is a nice word, you know, for areas for mice to climb in. If you look at the top corners of the slide out, you can see slide awning prep, and you might notice how all of the windows are tinted. When you are at this class and price point, that is something that sometimes is still not present. It keeps the heat in the RV down, it keeps the nosy neighbors out, it helps prevent some furniture fade. There's a lot of benefits to it. It might block a little bit of light inside the RV, but when we were inside just now, did you feel like it was ever dark in there? Because, I don't know, I sure didn't. And of course, your side windows are opening for airflow. Again, that is one of those detail things you got to look for that some brands won't do. That'll save you some money. I've actually, we've had different salespeople here at Haylett RV over the years, some of which have come from other dealerships. One of them explained to me, they came from a dealership where if that window didn't open, they would keep the shade on that window always closed on the inside of the RV when the RV was out for display, just to help hide that fact. We don't do that here. Now, I have a lot of shades pulled because the camera doesn't like the sunlight, but when they're out for display, all of the shades will be wide open for you. Next to the black tank flush here, under the bunk, we just have a chunk of storage. And I call this why not storage. This is like, why waste it? And frankly, since this is right next to the Stinky Slinky station, I think that this is like the perfect place for that kind of extra storage right there. Now, as we back up, you'll see this rear camera prep come into view, as well as, if you look at the top of the RV, some extra marker lights. That's a symptom of the J Smart lighting system. And then, speaking of which, if we get up to the taillights, you see a white center element in the taillight. That is the RT in Smart reverse travel. So when you shift into reverse, just like your car, you've got lights cascading, visible fields back here so you can see what you're doing, or your spotter can see what you're doing. The outside shower, one of those handy things to be able to hose the kids off and get the Turtle Creek slime off of them. Spare tire there, and amazingly, there's certain things too, like a spare tire is not something at this price point you can always depend on every RV having, but it is a standard feature on the J-Feather series. Again, they're very safety-minded. Along with that, one of the other things that they're very safety-minded about is the quality of tires that is behind the trailer, that is getting your family here and there. That's why they use Goodyear Endurance radials on all Jayco towable RVs. Now, on this little J-Feather here, these only require 65 PSI, and I love that on the Goodyear tires it's written just like plain as day, so that you know exactly how much air you should have in these before you leave for your trip. And what I like about that is anything like 80 PSI or less, you can stop at like any gas station and put air in your tires. You don't need to have some kind of special industrial compressor or something like that. Simpler, easier, safer. And again, rated for up to 87 miles per hour, you should never be towing that fast. But for some reason, if you're flying down a really steep hill from the Rocky Mountains, these will handle it. They can handle the extra heat that is generated at those speeds. Now, above that, and kind of hidden behind the entertainment center, we have this really cool camp kitchen. It is small, it's space efficient, but it's super, super effective. One of the other things I like here is it's got a screaming hot burning Capital Grill. These things burn so hot, it's the reason a lot of manufacturers now use the galvanized rolled steel here instead of wood. They never caught fire, but there actually were a couple instances where they were seeing some countertops smolder when this got put away screaming hot. This won't do that. Now, I obviously recommend you let it cool before you retract it. But speaking of which, you see these little blue tabs on either side of the J-Bird Barley Poppinator 37 series. Well, you can see that this it won't close. These are locks, and what I like about that is it can't slide open on accident, and it can't slide closed on accident. So if one of the kids bumps it, and you've got something up here boiling, you're not going to splash the kid with boiling water. There's unexpected safety benefits of this I don't think a lot of people appreciate. Now, the little mini fridge outside in combination with the fridge inside gives us a little bit over 8 cubic foot of cold storage, actually approaching 9, I think, so not too bad considering a lightweight half-ton towable trailer. You can fit yourself a lot of drinks in there. Now, point of clarity, this is 110 like Parker generator power only, while the fridge inside can operate on 12 volts. So that is something people go, well, why is that not 12 volt? The short answer is because the 12 volt fridges outside in RVs are still unfortunately just extremely expensive, like silly expensive. If that's something you really need, you could always do it aftermarket, of course. Back in this corner, it's easy to miss, but I think it's important. Little power outlet sneaking into view right there with some nice space to operate it. And then over here you see a couple switches. Well, there's some lights up here in this area. You've got normal viewing lights, you've got a blue night light, but there's yet another power outlet back there. And that little pocket, to me, I think is going to be one of the best places for like keeping a phone charged outside. Slick as a skateboard trick. On the front steps, we've got the MORryde stable steps. But on the back steps, you at least have these anti-slip aluminum plank things. So the step that you're going to be using the most of the time, they make sure isn't going to cause rocking and rolling, Whereas back here, they at least make sure you're not going to slip and fall because, logically, if, again, the kids come in from the creek and they got the turtle slime on them, you're going to want to hose them off. They're going to be wet. You don't want them slip sliding around. So this basically is going to operate like the aluminum planks on a boat dock, which are there so that you don't slip slide around. And then you can immediately send them in, you know, hey kids, use the potty before we leave, or hey kids, get yourself cleaned off so that you're not rubbing the turtle slime through my nice J feather. So thank you for joining us today. If you like what you see, we would certainly appreciate you giving our family-owned and operated facility here an opportunity to earn your business in return for our efforts today. If you appreciate the information and the education you're getting, hit that subscribe button to follow along. And short of that, remember that we don't do hidden fees at Haylett RV, but we do everything else, even deliver this RV right to your front door. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy Haylett camping, everyone.